I'm nothing. If I don't have those things, I'm nothing. I'm already nothing. And it caused a true spiral.
What got you to that breaking point? Was there something that kind of triggered it, or were you just like, I'm done?
It's a little bit of a layered story. After a couple of years, I started really manifesting physical problems. And so I started having health issues, gut health issues, crazy vertigo.
Oh, wow.
And then I found out my spine was broken.
What?
I don't know how. I had to have full spine surgery. I was trying all these different avenues. Nothing was happening. My love life was tumultuous. I felt really alone. I was really cruel to myself. I look at it almost now like me as a spiritual being was trying to like wake me up. And it got really wild. And I realized that I wasn't making the kind of money I had been making. If I don't have the money and the nice things, what do I have?
Yeah.
Who am I? Last year I had to ask for help from my family and friends in a way that I was not comfortable with. Whew. I don't think I could have gotten through that time without my family and my friends.
Yeah.
And I felt like people showed up for me in a really immediate way, in a really magical way.
Happy Wednesday, you little lemon drops. I am so excited because this week's guest is Tyler Blackburn, and you probably know him from Pretty Little Liars. This show was my go-to show in high school. My girlfriends and I think it was on Tuesday nights. Every Tuesday, we would end dance at like 8:30. We would all go to Whole Foods. We would all pick up dinner, and then we would all drive to one of our houses to watch the new episode that was coming out that week. And it is such a fun memory of mine to look back on. And we just had so much fun doing that. So I was super excited to sit down with Tyler this week and really hear more about his story, his time on Pretty Little Liars, but also what's been going on in his personal life recently. Tyler and I had a very honest and vulnerable conversation about him reaching an emotional breakdown last year and what really led to that over years and years of being in the industry, and how he's learned to work through that. We talked about what accepting yourself really means to him and how he's learned to heal from past trauma. This episode was so sweet, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it because I left so inspired after talking with Tyler. So hope you enjoy. Tyler, welcome to The Squeeze.
Thank you so much for having me.
I have to tell you, we were just talking about high school. We grew up in the same city. My girlfriends, I texted them this morning. So I grew up dancing, and in high school, once we all like got our driver's licenses, we would all, every Tuesday, we would finish dance at 8:30. We would go to Whole Foods. We would get our healthy dinner, and then we would go over to someone's house and watch the new episode of Pretty Little Liars.
Oh, that's fun.
And so I texted them today, and I was like, guess who I'm having on the podcast? And they were like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
It was just
That's
like
so
a
cool.
core memory for us. Like my parents had friends, like when they had like just moved into their house, and they had like a couple other like younger couples that lived on their street, and they would watch Friends every week when the show was airing. And so this was like my Friends when there was still like cable television that was airing.
Wait, that's
shows
funny
weekly.
because that Friends was like a nostalgic thing for me. Like that was a comfort show. It still is. Like I'll put it on sometimes still, but my favorite thing is when people say to me that PLL was their comfort show because it's like we all had that, or hopefully, you know, and to be a part of that, that's the most important thing for me that came out of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it still is streaming. People are still watching it.
All of them were like, it's so, they were all like, I was just thinking about rewatching it. Like we all want to, I feel like I've actually forgotten it enough now that I could.
You could.
Rewatch
I mean, it's a commitment.
I know.
It's like 7 seasons, 22 episodes a season.
Yeah.
Like it's a commitment, but it's kind of like.
Is it really 22?
22. Yeah.
I forget that was probably like normal back then. Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think
because now it's like 8 episodes and that's it.
I know. Yeah, that was pretty common back then.
Is that why there was just like so many A's? They kept
I mean,
that was what my girlfriend's.
I
was
remember
like,
at the time being like, okay, this is getting redundant, blah blah blah. But I'm like, I can't imagine being one of the writers.
Yeah.
And having to be like, or any of the writers, and having to be like, what are we doing now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really an incredible time in my life.
Yeah.
It really was.
It makes me sad for like my kids and like this next like generation. Like they're not gonna like they could. I mean, technically, I guess streamers are now doing like the weekly releases, and I still have like some watch parties, but I feel like having to like go to someone's house, really wait for it, and like wait for the commercials and like all of that stuff is like such like a sweet.
I know.
Such a sweet time.
I know. There are so many memories that I have as a kid that I'm like, I just don't know that kids experience it in the same way anymore.
I know.
You know, but it's their new reality.
I know.
So
I was just telling Taylor the other day, I was like, maybe we like do the opposite and like just raise our kids like really sheltered, like on a farm somewhere, and like don't give them access to anything. Because I feel like we've just like swung so much. Like I think about when I was a kid, and I forget what I was listening to, but how like I used to play outside with my neighbors all the time growing up, and like go knock on their door and all that stuff. And now like I don't.
I know.
Does that happen?
I did video games off and on.
Okay.
When I was a kid, but yeah, I spent so much more time outside just exploring the hills in Santa Clarita. I'd just like go in there and play Buffy the Vampire Slayer with my friends, and like, you know what I mean? Like it was constantly like I had this group of friends in 6th grade where we would run around the streets playing what we called Scream, which was like tag, but the person who was it wore the Scream outfit. And we committed hard to this because we all loved film, we all loved horror. And so the person who was it wore the Scream outfit or costume.
God,
and then
terrifying.
I know, and we would do it at night. Like we were psycho. I don't know what, like, but we had the best time. And so if you were tagged, you were stabbed. Mm-hmm. Where did he stab you? In the arm? Great. You could still run around, but you had to pretend your arm was stabbed.
Yeah.
If he got you in the head or the back or the heart, you're done. You lay there for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
so we committed. It was so fun.
That is so
some of the
cute.
best memories.
I love that. Okay, well, we start each episode off with this jar. It's a game called Citrus Got Real. If you want to pull a little piece of paper out of there and read it to our lemon drops. They all kind of fell.
Okay. If you were a tree, what tree would you be?
LOL.
What? You hate that?
No, it's so random. Oh, now I gotta think of my trees. Maybe I'd probably be a Christmas tree, like a pine tree.
Okay.
I like Christmas.
But like decorated or not?
Maybe just, oh, frick. I'm rethinking my answer. Do you have one?
Okay, my first thought was an olive tree, just because I love olive trees the most. Like they're so beautiful to me. But I also kind of feel like if I could live any kind of life, it would be on an island. Ooh. So I'm thinking maybe a palm tree.
Yeah.
Would be me.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. Or a fruit tree, actually. I mean, look, a lemon tree's right behind. You should be a lemon tree.
Yeah, frick. Okay, I'm a lemon tree.
Be a lemon tree.
I actually have like 5 lemon trees, like on our property.
On the property?
Yeah.
There you go.
I know. Great. Okay, lemon and palm tree. I love that for us.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just like curious about PLL days and all of that stuff, so I'm gonna ask all of my fun questions. But going back to like way the beginning, you're auditioning for it. Had you been acting prior to that? Like what were your goals back then? Were you wanting to be an actor?
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, I went to a preschool where we really focused on performing arts. So dancing.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of just something that I loved all the time. Like from a very young age, I loved the idea of performing. And so I did theater throughout like middle school. I started pursuing acting a bit professionally in middle school too, but it was mostly for commercials and print and stuff. And then took a break. And towards the end of high school, when everyone's applying for colleges and stuff, it was like I knew what I wanted to do. Like, yes, I loved and I romanticized the idea of college, but it was also this thing of like, but I already know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I was obviously told like, you need a backup plan, so you should go to college.
Sure.
And it was like, something in my gut was like, I feel like if I have too solid of a backup plan, I'm going to fall back on that, you know?
Yeah.
And I wanted to be an actor quite badly, you know? And so I started driving from Santa Clarita down to Hollywood to take an acting class in like my junior year, I think. Okay. And got managers towards the end of that year and started auditioning then. So I was about 16 or 17 when I started like actually auditioning for stuff. Yeah. And so I was auditioning from 16 to 17, and then I think I was 22 or 3 when I got PLL. So between that time, I booked like some guest spots and stuff, but you know, and some commercials, nothing to keep me afloat. I had normal jobs. Yeah. You know, going on as many auditions as I could. I had a manager at the time who just really believed in me and like was just so incredible. Shout out Joe Lorenzo.
Sweet.
And, he pushed me and really was like, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Sweet.
And I would audition. I mean, like I came close to a role on Gossip Girl. Like, I mean, there were things like the momentum started building, And so then, but I think also too, like it was in those earlier years, I think like for me in my late teens, early 20s, I kind of had this explosion after high school where I just kind of got a little wild and I was partying a lot and I was not taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And so simultaneously I'm pursuing this career and I felt very emotionally, spiritually, and like mentally all over the place. And I think for me, like I had to kind of settle into myself and I had to define who I was for me in a way. And I had to do it. I would say that's kind of young to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, for sure.
But then once I did, I started working. I was on a soap for a little while. I was on Days of Our Lives for a little while. And then that ended and then PLL happened. And I was supposed to be in only 4 episodes. And then they kept having me back for, episode after episode as like a recurring guest. And then I booked a pilot for NBC. And because I was just a recurring guest on PLL, they had to let me do it. And then they realized, we might lose him. So then they said, once the NBC pilot didn't get picked up, then they said, we want to make you a series regular as Caleb. And I was like, hell yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
When did the show like start gaining momentum? Like, was it right off the bat? I'm trying to like remember.
So my character came in halfway through the first season.
Okay.
So like there were 10 episodes before I even showed up. When I got on the show, I could feel there was buzz about it, because I think it was around the same time as like Gossip Girl and stuff. So that sort of like teen world, that YA,
the phones,
exactly. And that was kind of the beginning of that, right? Where it was like the phones and social media in some way were starting. I feel like it kind of already had some momentum, but it was pretty quick. I'm not going to lie to you. Like once my episodes started airing, it genuinely felt like my life started to change overnight. Went from feeling pretty much anonymous to like being followed around Trader Joe's and Toluca Lake and stuff. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like it really was crazy. And then it just kind of got crazier. As social media really started building too, right? We utilized social media in a way that other shows hadn't yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even have social media really. It was like private. I barely used it. And I was told by the, studio and stuff like, you should really be leaning into Instagram now. And,
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So it was kind of like that impetus of social media.
Was it exciting, stressful, all of the above when that attention started happening? Like, were you just like living in the moment or?
I was honestly, it felt a little surreal.
Okay.
But it was also a feeling that I had worked my ass off.
Yeah.
And this life that I felt like I knew was going to happen for me was happening, which, just on a human level, that is so validating.
Yeah.
And it just made me feel so empowered. You know what I mean? Obviously, there were elements about it that were weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Obviously, that was strange because you sort of think about the idea of being recognizable or just a working actor and what that entails. And you romanticize it. And in a lot of ways, it does mirror the exact thing that you always thought it would be. But then there are other things that start to feel a little bit scary. Like if people just start showing up to your house and you're like, how did you even get my address?
Yeah.
And just stuff like, I mean, I'm sure that you guys have some experience with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, no, that's obviously Taylor has, I always say Taylor like literally lived a full life before I met him. We've been together for 8 years. And a lot of our relationship, he has been just taking time off and resetting. Because
was he a teenager during Twilight?
Yeah, he was 16, 17, 18.
Oh my God. I feel like I met him back in the day because I used to hang out with Kristen a little bit. And,
okay.
I think I met him once or twice back in the day, and then we have mutual friends too. I just always remember him being so sweet, like a kind soul, which I just felt like that's You might be in one of the biggest movies ever made.
Yeah.
And to have that sort of soul still is pretty telling.
Yeah.
You know?
He still has that. He's literally just like,
oh, I love it.
The nicest person. He's so kind.
I love that.
I always wonder, like, how did he not, like, I feel like he's just like one in a million with how he very much has struggled with body image issues and mental health and stuff that he's opened up about. But I always just say it's insane that he stayed like sane pretty much. Like he didn't have a big mental breakdown. He didn't turn to drugs. He didn't the fact that he has just always been himself and is still so like no ego, like loving is really cool. But I mean, I hear stories from him about like, I feel like that time period, like was like, I feel like that was kind of like the last of like, not the hype of celebrities, but like celebrities, I feel like because of social media and everything now, like, I feel like, and because of how much content is out there now.
Yeah, it's like so saturated
it's not,
now.
It's not as like hyped up, but then it was like, I mean, they were being followed everywhere. I'm sure you guys were too. Like, it was just like you were on like a TV show or a movie, like you were famous and you were like in this category. Now it's like a little more, just saturated. Okay, Lemon Drops, I am so excited to introduce to you Gatorade Lower Sugar. This has 75% less sugar than Gatorade. It has no artificial flavors, sweeteners, or colors. And I figured what better way to try these flavors than to do a little taste test with you because they are looking delicious. We have Rainberry. We also have lemonade, which is very fitting for this podcast. And we also have fruit punch. This one is Taylor's favorite. I haven't tried them yet, so I'm going to see which one is my favorite. Let's start off with this Rainberry. Oh, that's good. You can actually taste that it's less sugar, but it like not in a bad way. I don't love super sugary drinks. This feels very hydrating, but with a little bit of flavor. Okay, next is lemonade. Okay, this one might be my favorite, which I kind of knew because I'm a lemon girly, if you couldn't tell by the fruit that's behind me. But let's try this one, Fruit Punch, Taylor's favorite. Drum roll. Oh, shoot, that one's good too. No, I don't really know. I kind of think all of them. If I had to choose, I think I'm going with lemonade just because lemons are my favorite. What I love about Gatorade is that Gatorade hydrates better than water. And when I think Gatorade and electrolytes, I feel like I think about people that are working out every day, intensely sweating, but majority of us aren't getting the electrolytes that we actually need. So incorporating something like Gatorade, especially these lower sugar ones, is so easy to do, especially like a midday. I am like a midday drink girl. I love to have a little snack, a little tea, a little drink, whatever it may be. And having a little Gatorade midday is the perfect pickup, and it really hydrates you and gets you going for the rest of your day. Like many of us, I feel like I am always on the go, whether that's doing podcast tapings, work prep, work for the foundation, going to carpets and events and traveling. I am always looking for an easy fix to make sure I'm getting my hydration in. So being able to just grab a bottle of Gatorade and take it with me on the go wherever I am is truly so easy, and it's so easy to incorporate. I feel like there's so many different wellness things we try to incorporate and try to get in our electrolytes somehow, but it's truly so simple to get it in with Gatorade. And the fact that it has 75% less sugar, I feel so much better drinking it. I am so excited to start incorporating this Gatorade lower sugar into my routine, and it's so simple, and you guys should definitely try it too. Try Gatorade Lower Sugar today. It's available on Gatorade.com and in stores nationwide. Cheers. Lately, my life has felt like a constant juggling act between work, social plans, travel, trying to move my body, and still show up for myself. There are so many days where my own health ends up taking a back seat. I'll look up and realize I've been running around all day answering emails, hopping from one thing to the next, and haven't actually fueled myself in the way that feels good. And that's exactly where Premier Protein comes in for me. On those busy days when I need something quick, convenient, and actually satisfying, Premier Protein has become my go-to. It's the kind of thing that I can grab without slowing down, but still feel good after choosing. Whether I'm heading out the door, need an afternoon boost, or just want something easy that fits into my routine, it makes fueling myself feel simple instead of stressful. And honestly, it tastes amazing. I always keep the vanilla on hand. It's my favorite flavor, and it makes it so easy to reach for something that I actually enjoy and look forward to having. What I also really appreciate is that Premier Protein fits into real life. It's not just for intense gym sessions or hardcore workout days. It's for everything you need fuel for. With 30 grams of protein and tons of delicious flavors, Premier Protein isn't just for those who get after fitness. It's for those who get after life. It's for squeezing in a walk, showing up to a meeting feeling ready, saying yes to plans with friends, winning game night, or even mastering a new recipe for a dinner party. That's why it feels like such an easy, smart choice. Find your favorite flavor at premierprotein.com. That's PremierProtein.com or at Amazon, Walmart, or other major retailers. If you're a dog parent, you already know it's not just a dog, it's your baby. I saw the stat that 91% of dog parents say their pup is an important member of their family, and 40% even save their dog over a human stranger. Safe to say, people are obsessed. And honestly, I get it. I am in that obsessed category. And if anyone truly understands that level of dog obsession, it's Ollie. They are relentless about delivering the best dog food and experience for you and your pup. What really sets Ollie apart is the food itself. Ollie's fresh recipes are developed by real chefs and backed by vet nutritionists. They're obsessed with making high-quality meals using thoughtfully sourced ingredients. And it's not just about the food, it's the whole end-to-end experience. From the moment you start your subscription, everything is tailored to your dog. The meals are perfectly portioned based on their needs, and they send you a pup tainer and scoops, so storing and serving is super easy. And with Ollie, you don't just get food. Through their app, you can check in on your dog's health with real vets. By uploading a photo, their team can check in on things like weight, digestion, teeth, and coat. My girls absolutely love Ollie, and I tell all of my dog parent friends to switch to Ollie because giving them real food truly makes such a difference. Get ready for both you and your pup to be obsessed. Head to ollie.com/squeeze, tell them all about your dog, and use code SQUEEZE to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer an obsession guarantee. If you're not completely obsessed, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/squeeze and enter code SQUEEZE to get 60% off your first box. Ollie, feed the obsession.
Yeah, and I also just think like the tone around how we treat people has changed too. I mean,
Yeah.
When I was starting out acting, there were so many conversations around my body and like, you need to bulk up, you need to look like this. You can't, you need to come across more masculine. You can't come across as queer in any way.
Yeah.
Those types of conversations just aren't really okay anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's like less pressure in those ways. Like I think individuality, self-expression, I think it's actually cooler to be weird now than it used to be. Before it was like you need to fit into some sort of box.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that it's
true.
taken some pressure off, and it hasn't even been that long since that change has happened.
Yeah.
So
It's so true. I just had the previous episode, I just had two of my girlfriends, and we were just had a girl chat
cute
episode, and they're both in the beauty industry. They're both like OG content creators, beauty girls, like have just been through, and we were talking about beauty standards and how like now I feel like it's finally coming around. Like there obviously will always be a beauty standards, and there's always like super skinny is in right now, and like whatever it is. But I was telling them that I feel lucky because I've like, and now I feel like we're getting to this age where it's like okay to be different.
Yeah.
And like I'm not one that like wears like I don't have like funky hair and like cool like aesthetic like funky style and stuff. Like I'm just like in sweatpants and look like Adam Sandler half the time. But I don't feel like
Wait, that's amazing.
That's
Adam
just
Sandler is the man.
I know. But I don't feel like I feel like I don't want to look like the beauty standard, and I feel like we're finally getting like into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is like nice, and people can it's cool to be different. I actually was listening to Amanda Seyfried was doing an interview recently for one of her projects, and she was actually talking about Botox And that is like the one thing I always get is Botox. And
I've been thinking about getting it. So we got to talk about that in a second. Go ahead.
You can do like a baby one and see how you like it.
Okay.
But I was like, I got it originally because when I first started doing content, I was like seeing how expressive my face was, even when I like wasn't
like
talking.
when you were watching it back. You mean?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's like, there's a lot of movement going on there. Not because I was like, oh, there's wrinkles, but I was just like, we got to like tone this down a little bit.
Yeah.
But in this interview, she's talking about like, I don't get Botox because like it will mess up my work. Like I need to be expressive and I want to like show my real skin. And just like the way she was talking about it, I really was like, it really just resonated with me. Yeah. So I haven't gotten Botox again because like,
really?
I was
going to say, you seem very expressive, but not like overly.
Yeah. I mean, I also barely get any because like, I still like to have some
when
movement.
Your face can't move at all, like I feel like that would be like panic inducing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, and I when that interview came out, I was like, oh, I actually like do want some movement. Like I miss like, even though I don't have work done, I was like, I miss my natural face, like how she was talking about. And I think more celebrities are kind of like keeping that natural look about them and talking about that. Which,
one thing I was thinking about doing it is for like jaw, like TMJ stuff, because I get like tension headaches back here and into the jaw and like all the way down here.
Yeah.
But I heard you have to kind of get a lot of it. And it can also like change the shape of your jaw. Which I'm like, I don't want to look like sunken necessarily.
No,
you know?
You haven't. Maybe try it here first.
Traps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see.
Maybe.
But just if you go to someone that's like good.
Yeah.
Trustworthy.
I'll get your person's number. But no, but I hear you and I think that's great. I mean, the cool thing about Botox, I guess, is that if it does fade and you can kind of see, what do I like better? You know? But yeah, I mean, the beauty standards will always be there. They've always, not always, but beauty is something that I really do think it's like subjective and it can like spread like wildfire, right? Like trends and all of these things. And I just do think that going too overboard with like the filler and the Botox and stuff can literally, like you can't go back from it at a certain point. Do you know what I mean? Like just, I want people to be like careful, I think, because, but I'm also like, do you, like if you actually feel happy doing what you're doing, do it, you know?
You know, check the intention and like your, like I say, as long as you're like coming from a healthy place, then like if like my girlfriends, if they want to go on like a GLP-1, I'm like, if you're coming from a healthy place, do it. And when you need to stop, you need to stop. Like as long as you can do something healthy, I'm for it. Yeah. But like I want you to love yourself.
Like the goal is to love yourself no matter what.
Yeah. When talking about like beauty standards and stuff, obviously Taylor has talked a lot about body image and stuff, struggling with that as a male, and you kind of like touched on that. How has your journey with that been?
Body image?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not horrible. I mean, last year was like a turning point for me, where I really realized how I was treating myself, and I had been for years for a lot of different reasons. I feel like when I got on PLL, I was pretty confident in a lot of ways, and then of course it was so validating to like have your dream come true and all of these things. And then I feel like at a certain point for me, like maybe late 20s, is when I really came to terms with my sexuality, and I think that opened up a lot of wounds that I hadn't really confronted yet, and I think it then started to spiral into my looks and where do I fit in the queer community, and am I likable? Am I lovable? Do I have sex appeal? Like all of those things, you know? Yeah. And so it did start this cycle that I didn't realize how bad it was getting until last year. I had a really hard year last year, like really, really quite dark. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. And I've been like unearthing these layers of like what got me there. Yeah. And the way that I was treating myself was just horrific, you know? And some of it, a lot of it did have to do with my body. Like it really was, you know, like I would pinch fat every day and, you know, weigh myself all the time. But it was this vicious cycle to where it was like, I would work out, but then I would eat really badly because it felt like I needed something to like make me feel fulfilled, or I don't know, like it was just. And when I say really badly, I'm not like eating McDonald's every day. But for me, I know that based off of the way I want to feel, the way that I want to look, like I can't eat like, lasagna every single day or like
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
But it was just this vicious cycle, and I was very hard on myself, really hard on myself, and it made me have a more of a sort of like contemptuous relationship with other people in my life, and like just the way that my life looked. I was not a happy person,
Yeah.
And I do think that the way that we view the world and other people literally is like a mirror that starts with how we feel about ourselves.
I love that.
And so my journey over the last few months and for the rest of this year is like, I've said this a few times. It's like I want to have like the deepest love affair with myself that I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Probably. Like I think when I was a small kid, I liked myself. I had confidence. I knew what my abilities were, what my talents were, what my heart and soul were.
Yeah.
And I'm not a perfect person. I'm not always chill. I'm not always calm, and I'm leaning into the fact that I have variation.
Yeah.
I feel like so much of my life was about putting myself in different lanes and boxes and being consistent with them. And that was my like barometer of how well I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm just realizing that like I, at least, but I think most people, if not all people, are multifaceted.
Yeah.
And I would avoid certain parts of myself because they were unlovable in my mind or harder to love or less acceptable, or like, when I behave that way, what's the reaction I get from people? Oop, not so good.
Yeah.
Better censor that. And now I just want to be like, all that really matters is how I feel about me.
Yeah.
And I trust my instincts pretty well. I know that I'm a good person. I know I'm not going to be perfect all the time. I'm not always going to do the right things or say the right things, but I know my intentions, and I don't want to be searching for outside validation. It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right? But like 2026 for me, year of the horse. I'm sure you've heard about this.
Yeah.
I want to go forward with vigor in so many areas of my life, but the one I want to go towards the most is like, like celebrating me every day, Sorry.
No.
I just feel like, but then I keep thinking like, if everyone felt fortified in doing that, like the world would be a happier place. It really would.
Yeah.
Because if we can't love ourselves, we can't love other people.
Yeah.
Or if we feel unsafe, we can't allow other people to feel safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my biggest goal is to fall in love with myself.
That's so special.
Of course I want love, I want validation, I want to have opportunities. But what I'm realizing is when I've started to really do that with myself, I am attracting the right things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really am attracting the right scenarios.
Yeah, that's so true. And I bet too, like for someone that has like with your past of being in the public eye and having people put you in a box and telling you, you're only going to be successful if you look or act this type of way, like how deep that probably like festered in you.
Yeah. Oh my God. I had so much anxiety as a teenager and a kid, and then also like in the beginning of my career.
Yeah.
So much anxiety. I would go into auditions. I mean, I actually had to walk out of some auditions because I was so in my head.
Yeah.
I was like on the verge of panic attacks because I would be looking around, comparing myself to all these other guys that looked older than me. They seemed straighter than me. They had better bodies than me. They were like probably most definitely going to get the role over me. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, the inner dialogue was so crazy. You know what I mean? I struggled with anxiety. Like as a teenager, I was bullied. Like, I'm sure that you understand this when I talk about going to high school in Santa Clarita.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Which, listen, like, I'm not shitting on Santa Clarita totally, but as a queer, artistically minded, sensitive, emotional person, there's not a ton of room for that out there, So I didn't really have a ton of friends.
Yeah.
I didn't have, I didn't have a safe space really out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the narrative started then, for sure. I went from being a kid who was doing theater and really, like, if you asked me to sing you a song, I would do it on the spot, to literally eating lunch in my biology classroom. alone with my biology teacher,
Yeah.
you know, because I didn't feel like I had a safe space.
Yeah.
And then when I got out of high school and I started pursuing the life I wanted, I was carrying a lot of that with me, but trying to combat it at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad I didn't find success even younger.
Yeah.
It really would have been wild, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, what I've realized when I really look at my past is like when I step into my power for me is when I start to succeed. Like I did not start working as an actor until I stopped feeding into the pressures to party and do drugs and go crazy like that.
True.
I found success when I said, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be the quarterback. I'm not going to be that hot guy. I'm not going to bulk up and wear tight shirts. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grow my hair out as long as I can. I'm going to wear tight jeans. I'm going to be like, I was really like, I had like leaned into like the 70s rocker vibe a bit. My hair was literally down to here.
Oh, wow.
It was incredible. I loved it.
Yeah.
My reps were like, what are you doing? But I was getting so close to so many projects that I don't think they wanted to drop me.
Yeah.
Because they could see like but I said, I will cut my hair if I get a job and they want me to. Otherwise, this is me. And you walk into a space, like when you have boundaries, it's like this funny dichotomy because when you have boundaries, it's not that you're closing everything off.
Yeah.
You're creating space for the right things to come in, I feel like. Oh, do you know what I mean?
So good. Yeah.
Like I feel like boundaries to people feel like such a stop.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm not going to do that. I can't go here. But it's not about that. It's about actually like pushing those things away so that you can make room for the path that's meant for you, you know?
That's good.
And so, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's something I just keep coming back to. It might be a few years until I realize it again, but I think it's important, you know, to have your own integrity about who you are and have your boundaries, you know?
Yeah, that's important. When dinner time hits and you're trying to stay on track, ButcherBox makes it so much easier. Having high quality protein delivered straight to your door means fewer last minute grocery runs and way less guesswork. ButcherBox delivers 100 premium protein options, including 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, crate-free pork, and wild-caught seafood. Everything meets the same rigorous standards, whether you're cooking something simple like chicken breasts or elevating dinner a bit more. It's quality across the board. For over a decade, ButcherBox has led the industry with meat and seafood that's antibiotic-free, hormone-free, and independently verified. As an exclusive offer, new listeners can get their choice between organic ground beef, chicken breast, or shrimp in every box for a year, plus $20 off when you go to butcherbox.com/squeeze. That's right, your choice of organic ground beef, chicken breast, or shrimp in every box for an entire year, plus $20 off your first box, and free shipping always. That's butcherbox.com/squeeze. Don't forget to use our link so they know that we sent you. If this season feels busy, you're not alone. That's exactly why I'm excited about the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus powered by Peloton IQ. It's Peloton's most elevated equipment yet, with real-time guidance and endless ways to move. What really stands out is Peloton IQ. It provides real-time strength coaching with features like goal setting and smart weight suggestions, so you're always progressing. There's even a new movement tracking camera that counts your reps and helps you correct your form in real time. It takes the guesswork out so you can train safer, lift smarter, and make every rep count. And I love the versatility. You can go from a 45-minute run and then with one smooth spin of the swivel screen, hop into a 5-minute stretch or strength session off the tread. It makes cross-training feel seamless even on tight schedules. Peloton IQ also builds personalized plans and weekly class recommendations that match your mood and energy, helping you stay motivated and consistent. Let yourself run, lift, sculpt, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com. We're officially into the new year, and this is usually when I start reassessing how my space is actually supporting my everyday life. Refresh your space and make your home work better for you with Wayfair. I've been really intentional about making my home feel more functional, more organized, and honestly just more enjoyable to spend time in. And Wayfair has made that reset feel surprisingly simple. From furniture and decor to organization solutions and outdoor essentials, Wayfair makes it easy to find exactly what fits your style and needs. What I appreciate most is how everything lives in one place. Whether you need bedding, a mattress, fresh towels, storage solutions, or even outdoor pieces for seasonal refresh, it's all there. This season, I wanted my home to feel calmer and more streamlined, so I focused on the basics, upgrading bedding and bath essentials, adding smart storage that actually keeps things organized, and swapping in practical kitchen pieces that make weeknight dinners feel easier. Wayfair makes it simple to narrow down exactly what works for your style and budget. I also love that they offer installation and assembly services available for a truly seamless experience, which just makes the whole process feel stress-free. One thing that really stands out to me is how many pieces have thousands of 5-star reviews, which helps you feel confident when you're shopping. It takes the guesswork out of ordering something big for your home. Find furniture, decor, and essentials that fit your unique style and budget. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. What got you to kind of that breaking point of hitting kind of your low last year? Was there something that kind of triggered it, or were you just like, I'm done feeling this way?
It's a little bit of a layered story, to be honest. I
Yeah.
feel like it had been years coming.
Yeah.
After PLL, I did another show called Roswell, and during that show, prior to that show even, I had kind of opened up this Pandora's box about my love life, my sexuality. It caused problems in my family a bit. It caused problems in my the way I viewed myself, and then like after a couple of years, I started really kind of almost like manifesting physical problems, and so I started having health issues.
Wow.
I had like gut health issues that were crazy. I had like a year and a half of like crazy vertigo.
Oh, wow.
Which I don't know if you've ever had that, but that is
Rough.
wild.
Yeah.
And then it was like, then I found out my spine was broken.
What?
Yep. I don't know how. My lower spine was just broken. I had no disc between two of my vertebrae. I had to have full spine surgery. And
Wow.
I just like was slowly crumbling. And then like as soon as that surgery was done,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I need to get back to work. Let me get an agent again. And like, I don't know, I just felt like it was like a lot of pushback right away from the business that I had been in for years. Then we have these strikes, I lose my agents. I was not auditioning. I'm like, how am I going to work if I'm not auditioning?
Yeah.
I was trying all these different avenues. Nothing was happening. My love life was tumultuous. I felt really alone. I spent a lot of time alone. I was really cruel to myself. And I just reached this point where I realized like, and to be honest, I look at it almost now like me as a spiritual being was trying to like wake me up. But it manifested initially as like severe anxiety again.
Yeah.
I became an insomniac. I was sleeping like 1 hour a night, literally, if I was lucky.
Yeah.
And then you add lack of sleep onto it.
Yeah.
And it got really wild. And I realized that, I wasn't making the kind of money I had been making. And if I don't have the money and the nice things and the success, what do I have?
Yeah.
Who am I? I'm nothing. Like the narrative was like, I'm nothing.
Yeah.
If I don't have those things, I'm nothing. I'm already nothing. But I've lost my mojo. I've lost my whatever,
For sure.
and it caused a true spiral, true spiral. And the anxiety was wild, and I had to ask for help, which I didn't love doing because I was like very much someone who, from a really quite a young age, felt a lot of emotional responsibility for myself. I didn't really get a lot of true feelings of understanding or support from people in my life.
Yeah.
And so I had to figure out how to do that for myself. And then, that becomes sort of how you walk through life, and you start to become so almost closed off to other people that I don't need help.
Yeah.
And like I've talked to friends who have in retrospect said like, you just never seem like you need it. Like you always have it together.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Interesting.
that's because I try to make it seem that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So last year I had to ask for help from my family and friends in a way that I was not prior comfortable with. Hold on. And hold on.
Take your
Shit.
time. No, you're good.
Ooh. I cry all the time. She knows. She's smiling because she just knows I cry all the time. I just don't think. I don't think I could have gotten through that time without my family, my friends.
Yeah.
Because it was like a very scary place to be.
Yeah.
And I felt like people showed up for me in a really immediate way, in a really magical way, you know? And now it's just made me go like, I want to do that for people in my life too. But not even just my life. Like I want to, it's changed my perspective too on how I want to exist in the world as far as the way I view humans.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I, for many reasons, have had walls up for a long time where I started to vilify people. Like, oh gosh, people are so annoying. People, I can't figure people out. And I just started to like have a lot more empathy, I think, after when you hit like a rock bottom of sorts, you can kind of like, you can become a little bit more empathetic towards just like the human experience, you know?
Yeah.
And I really have low tolerance for like actual bullshit and actual evil.
Yeah.
But I have a lot more understanding of just sort of like how everyone's navigating life and
So
everyone's
true.
just trying. I'm still allowed to have my boundaries and demand respect. Just because you're going through something doesn't mean you're allowed to disrespect me.
Yeah.
But I can also look at you. I can implement my boundary still coming from a place of love.
Yeah.
I see you. I see what you're dealing with. You can't treat me like that.
Yeah.
But I see you. So do you want the conversation to become about how we can actually change this and grow? Because I'm here for that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
For sure.
Anyway,
I love that.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing that
you're welcome.
and
Thanks.
opening up. I'm proud of you. And I love that you said like just how it's changed like your perspective on how you want to be there for your family and friends and people. Like that's like the whole reason I like started this podcast is to like have these conversations because like people like you had before, like people never hear these stories of so many people are probably in that same position you were in before you asked for help and not feeling like maybe like they can ask for help or even how to, or that they don't need to.
Right.
And just you deciding to like open up and share this is like huge.
Yeah.
So I'm just so thankful for you.
Honestly, it's like, you know, my new social media management team is so incredible. And they were like, you got to do podcasts. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous to do that, you know? Like that just feels so raw. But I'm also leaning into this idea of like dismantling the things that I felt limited by, which were those like internal thoughts of like, what am I afraid of though?
Yeah.
You
when
know?
you look at it, you're like, it sounds like when, after you speak it, I feel like it just like minimizes it.
Speaking it, I think the reason that it feels better is because it's the opposite of pushing it down.
Yeah.
You're like bringing it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then to be fortunate enough to have someone or people in your life that you can sit and discuss it with who have the patience and the love for you to help you, even if if it takes 20 minutes to process it, that's going to help so much, you know? Intimacy has so many levels. And I think that feeling safe enough to communicate is a huge sign that you are in an intimate relationship of some kind.
Yeah.
You know, and you can have an intimate relationship with your friends.
Yeah.
It's not just the person you go to bed with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I always say that intimacy and friendship, that's like that's my favorite form. Yeah.
Yes. And I think for me, like intimacy comes when you feel safe.
Yeah.
You know, and when you feel seen. And I really like that's what I want, you know? And I think that we all have the capacity to have that and then also allow other people to have that, you know? Which again is why I think in some ways like LA can feel so intense, because I do feel like everyone's trying to do or be something.
Yeah.
And everyone feels a little bit like fearful,
Yeah.
you know, or like unfulfilled or whatever. And therefore it's hard for them to feel safe, which makes it hard for them to make other people feel safe.
Yeah.
So there's this like weird little game going on. You know what I mean?
No, it's so true.
Yeah.
I want to know, going into this like year of self-love and your love affair with yourself, I want to know what, looking back between now how you feel and maybe 10 years ago, what does self-worth mean to you now versus 10 years ago?
10 years ago. Okay, wait. Okay. Actually, yeah, 10 years ago was like kind of the beginning of like a darker time in my life, where I put a lot of stock in how other people were responding to me, and the kind of treatment I was getting from other people. Like that, that was kind of my, that was how I determined or like what I deserved.
Yeah.
Or if I was doing something right or something was wrong with me or whatever. So I feel that now I just think that my relationship with myself has to be the most important thing, because again, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to always do or say the right things. I have definitely done and said things I regret. But I'm very good at taking responsibility for those things. I'm not going to sit there and say, well, you made me do that. I'm like, no one makes you do anything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No one makes you do anything. You choose to respond in a certain way.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like an immediate reaction, to then come back and take responsibility for it, that's then your responsibility, you know? And I think that that's important. So I think when I do that, among many other things, I sleep better at night, because that's my integrity. And so I think, I think self-worth has to do with that, that internal journey with yourself and how your outside world as a whole. So that's like what you do with your time, how you treat people, what you do, like what do you do with people? Like that is reflecting the person you are and what you want. You know, I don't want to be someone who changes who I am for other people.
Yeah.
I don't want to be someone who does a lot that I regret, you know, and it goes the other way around too, right? Where I want to do everything that I feel like I really want to do that's in me. Like we have this life, you know, I happen to believe in reincarnation. So I'm kind of like, I'm going to probably carry, you know, karmically through other lifetimes, but this life right now is being lived. And I want to have my ideas of who I am and what I want my life to look like to be realized as much as possible this life, you know? And trying and striving towards those things and feeling like you're a good person, I think is what increases confidence and self-worth. So I think that's my thing now, is it's like, I mean, literally being here, I never would have done a podcast before, because I was like, oh, I'm going to be so nervous but I wasn't comfortable about being open about my actual feelings and thoughts all the time. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so this is just like one little step in that journey of like, I'm going to leave here and I'm going to go, and this might seem silly, but I've started to implement rituals like looking in the mirror in my own eyes, in my eyeballs, and positive affirmations. Sometimes I go like, you know, I love you, Tyler, or I might be like, I love me. You know, it depends on how I'm feeling. But before in my life, I probably would have left something like this and spiraled about, was I sitting properly? Was I speaking properly? Did I come across as stupid? Did I sound gay? Like so many things would run through my mind.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I don't let those things in. And when I look in the mirror and I just am like, I'm so proud of you. Like you just did something you're afraid of.
Yeah.
Or you were afraid of, you know? And I don't want to let fear take me out ever again.
Yeah.
You know, anxiety is fear of something.
Yeah.
Fear of like lack of control or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to ever let fear take me out. Yeah. I don't. I mean, because like, what's really happening in the moment?
Yeah.
What are we afraid of? It's not like we aren't running from a dinosaur or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we're sitting across. Like, what's scary?
Yeah. No, it's
Being seen? Great.
Yeah.
That means you need to force yourself to be seen even more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
saw this
so
thing
much.
on Instagram that was like, it was reframing the idea of like when you're afraid of something and your heart starts beating, what if it's like your inner applause?
Oh.
Where it's like, go for it. Like we're cheering you on.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean by that? Like
I love that.
the idea of like, this is intense. I don't know if I
Yeah.
should do it. That's like your inner
Yeah.
applause. Like, go,
Yeah.
go, go, go.
Oh my
Obviously, listen, there's
Yeah.
like a time and place. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, if your heart is racing because you're actually afraid of something,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, maybe you're about to get hit by a car, get out of the way.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But like in
No, you're about
life,
to
on a
walk
day
on
to day,
stage or you're going into like
Yeah,
an
do it.
interview. Like, yeah.
do it. And I think for me, the other thing too is perfectionism was always so important to me. And now I'm just like, we're messy. We are messy. Like, show up tired. Like right now, I am so sore I started working out again. I'm so sore. I
Yeah.
literally have a headache today. And this morning was like, I can't believe this is how I feel going into this experience. And I was like, I don't care. Like, why it's not going to change.
Yeah.
I can just decide I'm going to be good no matter what.
I love that.
Do you know what I mean? I'm still here.
Yeah.
I don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
But I think again too, like wanting to make it in the entertainment business from a young age, you know, and like meeting with like PR teams and here's what you should say. Here's how you should, it's just like,
Yeah. I know.
You
it's
know?
like, it's kind of like, not like a die to self because it's not self, but it's like die to whatever this old version of you. Because Taylor has told me so many times, like things. I mean, I've seen it even firsthand of like when he would do press and interviews, he would be so nervous every time for everything you said. Was he sitting right? Did he say the right thing? Like that was just something that was always in his head, and it's been so cool. Like he did a couple, maybe it was last year or the year before, he did Fallon, and it was the most relaxed, comfortable. It was literally his best interview he's ever done. And he was just relaxed.
Yeah.
He had fun. And that's because he's like just released all of that. And
Yeah.
he's like loves himself. And he's just like in
I
this
love
state
that.
of like, so I just hearing everything you said made me so
Yeah.
happy because I've gotten to
I
see
wish he
that.
was here too,
know.
because we would have so many things to like
I
relate
know.
to probably,
I-
you
oh,
know?
yeah.
I hope
I'm
to
sure.
hang out with you guys again at
Oh
some
my
point.
gosh, please. I would love that. Last question I have for you is what are you most proud of yourself for?
Oh no. Where's the tissues? No, just kidding. Lexi. Don't laugh. It's actually what I was getting emotional about for a second. It was almost like I don't know how to just choose one, which I think is
I love that.
it's a very polarizing narrative to how I used to feel. So it's a little overwhelming because I like me, you know? I kind of like that I'm weird sometimes. I like that I'm not perfect all the time. I like that I can have, like, I will literally cry at a commercial.
Yeah.
But then if like you mess with me, like you're going to see some talents.
Yeah.
Like, but I kind of like that too.
Yeah.
I like that I can say I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
like that I can take responsibility for things. I like that, I don't know. I mean, I think at the end of the day though, like, and this is probably just because I'm on this like self-love journey, I think that my resilience is what I'm most proud of. I think that I've had to kind of deal with a lot throughout my life, more so emotionally and mentally.
Yeah.
I did not have like a terrible childhood, but I dealt with stuff that I wouldn't want my child to deal with, and I wouldn't want to deal with again.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was like within my family dynamics or my peers.
Yeah.
There were some really intense, dark things, and then to push through and say I have a dream and I'm going to make my dream come true and become an actor, that took resilience.
Yeah.
Because I would walk through those audition doors with the narrative of you're not good enough, you're this, you're that, and I would say I'm doing it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, then to ride that wave and stay close to who I am naturally, and then find it again now. Like, it just, I really feel like, I forget like the actual saying, but like kind of the concept of like your character is defined like by how you get back up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this world is designed to challenge us, and I just think some people really succumb quickly, which is unfortunate because I bet you anything those people even have extreme amounts of power that they have are untapped. But I just like don't want to give up, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, more so now than ever, it's like I want to be happy. I don't care actually if I ever work again as an actor if I'm happy. I don't care if I make a lot of money ever again if I'm happy. I don't care if I ever find a partner as long as I'm happy, you know? Do I think all of those things can add value to your life and give you tools that make you feel supported and excited? Yes, but like I really do think that happiness comes from within us. So if we're looking for any sort of outside source of happiness, it's going to be a little bit tricky, you know?
Yeah.
That was a very long-winded answer.
No,
But no,
that's great.
in a nutshell, I think just I am proud of my resilience and fighting for me being me, I think, you know, truly.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming.
This
and
was so
chatting.
great. Thank you
I know,
so
I love
much.
it. It's just, it feels so nice. Like, I can just go about my
So
day
casual.
now. Like,
Yeah.
I know. It's just so
I know.
comfy.
I love it so much.
Love
I
it.
appreciate you.